How fast can a car really go before it stops being a car? For over a century, dreamers, daredevils, and engineers have chased that question across endless salt flats and forgotten deserts in their rare breed of machines. Don't call them cars. They're missiles on wheels, born from obsession and fueled by dreams of breaking barriers that were never meant to be broken. These are the 5 fastest cars that broke the sound barrier between man and the impossible. Number 5. Spirit of America, 1964, 526.277 miles per hour. Starting from the time when chasing speed was not a thing. During that time, the race to break 500 miles per hour wasn't just a challenge, it was an obsession. And in 1964, one man made it happen. This man was Craig Breedlove, and he wasn't a millionaire. Or he wasn't backed by a corporation or a government. In fact, he was a former drag racer with one goal, which was to be the first man to drive a car over 500 miles per hour. His weapon of choice was unlike anything the world had seen. It was Spirit of America, a jet-powered vehicle with just 3 wheels. It looked more like a missile than a car, and in the eyes of the FIA, it wasn't even one. The tricycle design disqualified it from official recognition at first, but Breedlove didn't care, because he was chasing history. At the heart of the Spirit was a General Electric J-47 jet engine, pulled from an F-86 Sabre fighter jet. It roared to life across the Bonneville salt flats, unleashing pure thrust without a single moving tire delivering power. In 1964, Breedlove pushed his jet-powered machine to 526.277 miles per hour, shattering every previous land speed mark and becoming the first human to officially break the 500 barrier. This wasn't just a record, it was the dawn of a new era, one where wheels didn't need engines, where the dream of going faster than sound was no longer fiction. And Breedlove's Spirit of America was the blueprint for every land speed car that followed. But records, no matter how monumental, never last forever. Number 4. Green Monster, 1965, 576.553 miles per hour. Just 1 year later, Craig Breedlove's record was broken, and the man behind him was Art Arfons. He was everything Breedlove wasn't. A self-taught mechanic, a military vet, and a man who built his dreams with bare hands and scrapyard parts. Where Breedlove had sleek designs and aerospace engineering, Arfons had brute force and ingenuity. His creation, the Green Monster, looked rough, sounded mean, and was powered by a J-79 turbojet engine ripped straight from a decommissioned B-58 Hustler bomber. In 1965, Arfons rolled his machine onto the Bonneville salt flats and smashed Breedlove's record, clocking in at 576.553 miles per hour. It was a staggering leap in speed, and even more incredible considering the monster was built in his garage with almost no formal support. Number 3. Spirit of America, Sonic 1, 1965. 600.601 miles per hour. Because Craig Breedlove wasn't finished. Just 12 days later, Breedlove came back and took the title again. But it wasn't about money or fame. It was about pride and pushing their cars faster than anyone dared before. In those years, the salt flats turned into a battleground. Breedlove and Arfons, 2 men with opposite philosophies but identical obsessions, were rewriting the limits of what a car could do, and today they are remembered as legends of the game. So in 1965, Craig Breedlove came back to the salt flats with something bigger, faster, and this time undeniably official. His new creation, Spirit of America, Sonic 1, was a true 4-wheeled land speed car. No debates or disqualifications this time. Built to satisfy every requirement of the FIA, it was sleeker, longer, and more advanced than anything he'd driven before. Because this was the last chance, and Breedlove wasn't just chasing a number. He was chasing a milestone of 600 miles per hour. On October 15, 1965, he did it. he chased down 600.601 miles per hour and became the first human to break 600 in a car. With that run, he created an entirely new benchmark in speed history and what would later be called the 600 Club. A feat so extreme that only a few machines would ever join. Sonic 1 was powered by a jet engine, just like its predecessor, with no mechanical connection to the wheels. Thrust alone pushed it forward, which meant traditional steering and traction didn't apply. At those speeds, even the smallest twitch could be catastrophic. So, Breedlove's team engineered the car with specialized stabilization to counter yaw and roll at near transonic velocities. The salt flats at Bonneville had to be meticulously prepared. Even the smallest bump or shift in the surface could send the car off track. Every run was a dance with death, with nothing but instinct, engineering, and nerve holding it together. Number 2. Blue Flame, 1970, 622.407 miles per hour. So, in 1970, the race for speed took a sharp turn straight into the future. The car was called Blue Flame, and it didn't run on jet fuel. It ran on a blend of liquefied natural gas and high-test hydrogen peroxide. In short, it was a rocket on wheels. Behind the controls was Gary Gabelich, a man who had once been a candidate for NASA's astronaut program. He was calm, fearless, and razor-focused. Gabelich climbed into a machine built by a small team of engineers from Reaction Dynamics Inc., without a big-budget outfit, but one powered by innovation and precision. Their creation produced an estimated 58,000 horsepower, with thrust reaching 22,500 pounds force. The numbers were staggering, but the risks even more so. On October 23, 1970, Gabelich piloted Blue Flame across the Salt at 622.407 miles per hour, officially the fastest a car had ever gone. The run made history and held the land speed record for the next 13 years. That's longer than any record before it, a testament to how far ahead Blue Flame truly was. Despite its power, the vehicle was throttle limited during the record run. Engineers believed it could have gone even faster, possibly up to 800 miles per hour, but held back in the name of control and safety. And for good reason. Because even with top-tier design, driving a rocket car on Earth is playing with fire. Gabelich would later survive a violent crash in another vehicle that ended his racing career in 1972. He never returned to land speed again. Blue Flame, however, remained a legend and a symbol of the moment when chemical propulsion crossed paths with human courage. This was no longer about modifying old planes or pushing car engines to the limit. Blue Flame marked the high point of raw, rocket-fueled experimentation. But just when it seemed like the boundary had been reached, someone else decided to break the ultimate wall, the sound barrier. Number 1. Thrust SSC, 1997, 763.035 miles per hour. In the fall of 1997, the land speed record didn't just move forward. It went supersonic. After decades of jet engines, rockets, and increasingly daring engineering, one team set its sights not just on beating a number, but on breaking through the very barrier of sound. The vehicle was Thrust SSC, and the mission was to go faster than Mach 1. Piloting this missile on wheels was Wing Commander Andy Green, a Royal Air Force fighter pilot with thousands of hours flying supersonic jets. Now he would bring that experience to the desert floor, strapped inside a 54-foot-long car armed with 2 Rolls-Royce Spey 202 jet engines, the same kind used in an F-4 Phantom. Together, they produced over 50,000 pounds of thrust. That's enough to launch a fighter plane off a carrier deck. But initially, Thrust SSC wasn't flying. In fact, it was barely rolling. The test runs took place on the flat, dry expanse of the Black Rock Desert in Nevada. Years of planning had gone into this moment. The course was carefully mapped with GPS. The car was modeled using advanced aerodynamics to survive the chaos of transonic speeds, where airflow shifts violently and stability becomes a matter of life or death. At these speeds, even the slightest lift could tear the vehicle apart. So the team made a number of fine adjustments to make the vehicle perfect for the record-breaking moment. And on October 15, 1997, Thrust SSC made its historic attempt. To be official, 2 runs had to be completed within an hour in opposite directions. The first pass tore across the desert in a roaring streak, leaving behind a wall of dust and a distant boom that echoed across the plain. The return run followed minutes later. At the peak of its second run, the car reached a top speed of 763.035 miles per hour, punching through the sound barrier at Mach 1.02. For the first time in history, a car had gone supersonic. The sonic boom was real and unmistakable. It was a sharp crack that followed the car like thunder chasing lightning. High-speed cameras caught the shockwave rippling through the desert air. The cockpit, meanwhile, was a blur of gauges, turbulence, and the unshakable focus of a pilot moving at over 1 mile every 5 seconds. This time, Thrust SSC didn't just break the record. It redefined what was even possible on land. It remains to this day the only car in history to go faster than the speed of sound, and no one has matched it since. But what makes a record like this truly official is not just about speed. It's about meeting the standards. And the standard has been set at the highest possible range. If breaking the sound barrier in a car doesn't impress you, maybe hitting that subscribe button will. Go on, don't let Thrust SSC be the only thing making noise today. The International Automobile Federation. It's the governing body that verifies all official land speed records. And their rules are some of the most demanding in motorsport. To qualify, a vehicle has to complete 2 runs within 1 hour in opposite directions to cancel out wind, slope, and environmental factors. The average speed of those 2 passes is what gets written down. The course must be at least a 1 mile straightaway on a natural surface, with certified electronic timing systems and independent observers watching every second. And above all, the vehicle must remain in contact with the ground for the entire run. If it lifts off, even slightly, the run doesn't count. That's why not every high-speed claim makes it into the record books. Take the Budweiser rocket, for example. In 1979, it reportedly hit Mach 1.01, but it was never officially recognized. Why? Because the run lacked proper FIA timing, wasn't completed in both directions within the time window, and there were questions about whether it momentarily left the ground. Hence, without verified data and full compliance, the record remains just a legend. So when you see 763 miles per hour next to Thrust SSC, know it's not just a number. It's a certified fact, earned under the harshest scrutiny possible. And even that might one day be broken, because speed doesn't sleep, and records don't last forever. At the end of the day, speed isn't just a number, it's a mindset. And the land speed record is the ultimate test of how far we can push both man and machine. So, which of these record-breaking cars blew your mind the most, and what extreme record should we cover next? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every one of them, and if you enjoyed the ride, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never miss the next high-speed story. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the fast lane.